another addition to my Bobblehead family. This one is an Easter bunny. Not too hard to make. I have everything you need to make this, the pattern and the free tutorial. So follow along with me and you can make one too. I am going to show you how to assemble the bunny, but I am not going to show you how to cut all the pieces. I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you already know how to cut glass. You will find this pattern on the details of this YouTube site. If you look there, it's easy. You can print it, cut it out. Your pieces are already labeled. So this is what you're looking for. In addition to that, you do need to make some eyeballs, and you can find that video on my website as well, and there's a link in the details here. You also need to make 2 nuggets that are 1/2 inch that are pink, and 6 nuggets that are 1/4 inch that are also pink. To do these, I just cut a 1/4 inch piece of glass, a square piece, stuck it in my kiln at a full fuse, and it rounded up just fine. These, I did the same thing, but I used 1/2 inch. White has a little bit harder time rounding off, so I made a 1 inch, actually I made 4 1 inch by 1 inch squares. I rounded the corners with my grinder, stacked them up, so there's 2 circles here, 2 circles here, and I did a full fuse on those as well. Additionally, to help assemble this later, you're going to need 3 rectangles. Each one is 1 inch by 1/2 inch. Now, let's get started assembling. First, I'm going to work on the feet. And I'm just doing the pads of the bottom of his feet. And I am using plain old super glue. If you're using super glue, don't use a gel. You can also use something like glass tack or Elmer's glue if you wanted. That'll work just fine too. And so here's the pad of his foot plus his little toe prints. I don't know what you would call them. Same thing over here. Pretty quick and easy. And they look about the same, I think. And he's going to have 1 foot kind of angling out here, 1 foot kind of angling out here, and I'll put this aside. Next, I'm going to work on his head. I'm going to put each of those 1 inch cheeks, they're touching, and I just want them centered and a little bit below, I want them centered side to side and a little bit below the center on his head here. I'm going to fit his nose right in between those. And I'm going to put his eyeballs on. Next, I'm going to put the center of his ear, the pink part of his ear on each one of these pieces. And then this ear's flopped over. So this piece would fit right in here. I'm going to put the ears right under the tip of his head. Hold that down for a sec. And there you have it. That was pretty quick, huh? The next thing we need to do is assemble this bunny so that it's ready to go in the kiln. And that's what these pieces are for. I have a 3-inch piece of 17 gauge high fire wire, and I have a 2-inch piece of high fire wire. And this one here, this bottom one, is going to be what holds your bunny into the base. So I'm just going to attach my wire onto that piece there. Then I am going to attach my wire here and here. Now, the next thing I need to do is get his head onto here, but I don't want this part of the wire here to stick to this part of his head. So what I'm going to do is just put the smallest dot of glue right here. I don't want to glue it to my table. And I'm going to glue this paper here. And what that does is this paper will act as a separator between this part of his head and the wire. We don't want the wire attaching there. My ear just doesn't want to stay here, sorry. Now this piece here, this white piece, will be approximately the middle of his head. So somewhere around his nose is where that will be. So I'm going to put some more glue there. And I'm going to center his head so that that piece is approximately under his nose. Then I need to put his body so that this top part of the body just covers that one piece of white, and the bottom part of his body will cover that other piece of white. I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to put it in the kiln for a tack fuse. So my Easter bunny is out of the kiln. You can see he looks kind of silly because he has his head way up here. But we're gonna fix that. We're gonna make him into a bobblehead. So the first thing you need to do is fold his head forward. You need to do this carefully so that you don't break any glass where the wire is attached. You can see I've just folded him in half. And then here you can see this is where we had that thin fire paper because I didn't want that wire to attach itself. So now we can use that to our advantage and bend this back up. See how it's coming out from that groove there? It's not attached. Like this. So you can see this wire kind of makes an S shape, and that's what allows his head to kind of bobble, and you can make adjustments on it if you need to. And the last thing we need to do is cut this wire off. And I have a disc for my base. You can use whatever you want for your base, but I just find these quick and easy. I got these at one of the craft stores. I think it was meant for ornaments because there's a little hole there, but I'm just ignoring that. But I did drill a teeny hole that's about the same size as the wire. And I'm going to do just a dry run and make sure that my wire is not too long, and it looks like it's just perfect. So I'll just leave it as is. And I'm going to put a little bit of E6000 on the wire. And I'm also going to put it right here on his feet because those touch that wood, and that'll give it just a little bit of extra stability. I'm going to stick it in the hole, and my Easter bunny bobblehead is done. I hope your bunny turned out awesome. Thanks for joining me. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And look for my other tutorials too, for my other bobbleheads in the family. Thanks. Bye.